someone who's living with a disability that could live more independently if they were supported in the proper way? Well, today I have the honor of being at Pathways of Southwestern PA. I am Christine Brookins, and this is Connecting Our Community. Thank you for having me here. I have the honor of speaking with Eddie Yongo, your president and CEO.
Yes.
And Kim McBane, you have a long title. Director of Quality Management and Improvement. Did I get that right?
Yes, you got it.
Okay.
Yep.
I get an A+ for that. Thank you for having me here at your home of Pathways. I'd like to kind of introduce to our audience who is Pathways and what you do. I mean, to say you're a social service agency does such a great disservice. Eddie, can you tell me a little bit about what Pathways is?
Well, Pathways was started in 1961, and it was the former, what used to be known as United Cerebral Palsy of Washington. Over the period of time, it has grown, and at the time, it was taking care of individuals with intellectual disabilities. We started off as a center for individuals with intellectual disabilities, and then we moved into homes, providing residential homes for individuals who we take care of for 24/7. We changed our name quite a bit after that. In changing our name, we became Pathways, and the reason Pathways was chosen at the time, Pathways of Southwestern Pennsylvania, was because we serve people who come in from different pathways into our services or into our organization. So our main core business is taking care of individuals with intellectual disabilities from a residential aspect of it. We own and operate residential services 24/7. We house the staff 24/7. On average, we have about 3 to 4 individuals per home, which on average are also taken care of by DSPs, direct service providers. And then we also have a adult training facility. The adult training facility is where during the day individuals come and they participate in different activities. From those activities, they go out. This small groups do employment services, which we help them in training that. We help them. We have a mock house, kind of an apartment feel. We help them in just recognizing them, being able to navigate. They usually come in, from when we open, usually about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and leave at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Those are the day programs. Most of our residential individuals also do come for the ATF services, short for Adult Training Facility. And then we also have another service we provide, which is Agency with Choice. Agency with Choice is one of the self-directed services. Self-directed services it gives the opportunity for the individual to be able to make a choice of the kind of services they want, where they want to live, and we provide services in the aspects of working with the families or with the individual, together with the individual. We are known as someone as the employer of record.
Okay.
The families or the individuals are the managing employers, so they make all the decisions. We provide, they make all the decisions. They also they do the hiring of the staff who work with the individuals, and from there we do all the back office kind of work in managing the staff, providing training. But what's changing over the years with Agency of Choice, we're finding that we need to add more value to what the services we do, because the landscape is changing a lot. It's one of our biggest programs, and it's one of the programs which is really growing in a big way. What we have found over the years, government, and mainly through ODP, Office of Developmental Programs, is encouraging more people to go on the self-directed services route. It's cheaper for government, but it's also trying to integrate the individuals into their community, which is part of their everyday lives. And I'll let Kim talk about everyday lives.
So let me just make sure that I'm clear. All these services that you've just mentioned, the residential, the adult training facility, and even agency with choice, are these all adults over the age of 22?
Yes, most of them. So all those come under what we call adult services. We have grouped them over adult services, but it doesn't have to be necessary.
Right. Agency with choice had expanded to, birth. So
Okay.
it does cross over to the younger ages.
So when there's an individual that is diagnosed with a disability of some sort that needs support at home to live in the family home or to be able to live independently in the community, agency with choice is a way that you can hire that support staff to help those individuals, right?
Yes. And, there's the precursor where you become enrolled with a county that you're associated with, and you get a plan established, that type of stuff, and then they would look at services from there, and one of those services could be agency with choice.
So once we have the disability,
Yeah.
we've associated with the correct county agency to get registered.
Yes.
And through the county, then the funding is going to be hopefully made available to pay for these services. But now you need somebody to provide the service. And
Yes.
that's where agency with choice comes in. Is that right?
Right. And
Okay.
like Eddie said, with the self-direction, what is very unique about that is the managing employer aspect. And you do have the control to be able to truly manage those services and supports because of everybody's so different.
Yes.
And so you set the schedule, those types of things. You hire your own staff, that type of stuff, and you work with us as the employer on record, and we help to assist and support that as well. So it's unique. It's more unique than a little bit of the traditional types of services.
And supporting that, you are the human resources department for that. Is that right? Like the hiring, while I may choose my staff, I'm not the employer, Pathways is the employer.
Exactly. We have a full process of bringing somebody on board, running through all the criminal checks, all the requirements that an employee would need. We are there to help to support that process for the managing employer, and within a very efficient time frame.
And your clientele, are they all individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And autism. Yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
falls in there. Yeah.
Falls in the umbrella
Yeah.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
And that may or may not include people that also have some kind of mobility disability or something like that. You're going to come across that, I would imagine.
A lot.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah, there are those
Absolutely.
comorbidities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an overview, just very briefly, of some of the adult services, but adults aren't the only ones that you serve. You want to tell me a little bit about the children and how you serve them?
Children's services. We have three main programs. We have our daycare. We provide daycare services in Washington County, in Washington itself, and also in Greene County in Waynesburg. That's from birth to 5.
Okay.
We find that a lot of the services that we provide, the daycare services, are usually to families who get assistance.
Okay.
Assistance from the government. But what has changed with that business model is that post-COVID, we're finding that more parents are keeping the kids home.
Really?
And doing homeschooling. But also at the same time, but the flip side is we see them coming back. It's a difficult business to run, mainly because of the daycare cost. The daycare cost, we are below the average, what the average daycare charges. We are way below that. In some cases, we are $20 below that.
Mm-hmm.
but still a lot of families, struggle to put their kids through the day because, we have tried getting any different forms of government assistance. You don't find many foundations giving grants or funding to daycares for daycare operations. You don't find that at all. But that's one of the services we provide. And then the other service, children's service, is Your Child's Place, also known as YCP. YCP is a PEC, which stands for Prescribed Extended Day Care Services. Got it. Yeah. Those are very specialized daycare services. They're medical daycare services, which are run by medical staff, nurses, and nurse aides and child aides. It provides services with kids who are medically fragile. And when I mean medically fragile, they can go from, they're being fed with tubes, they have soft skulls, Down syndrome, severe Down syndrome, but these are young, from birth. I think the oldest we've had now is about 10 years old.
Okay.
Some of them have some disabilities, some of them have intellectual disabilities, but this is all funded by insurance. Both parents have to be working to get this service. In this side of the state where we are, I think there's only 3 PECs, and I think there's a total of, and I might be wrong on this one, because I knew a few of them are shut down, but I think there's a total in the whole Commonwealth, there's a total of about 18. Wow. 18 PECs spread around. We have this one, Your Child's Place, and I always tell people, we serve people from, if you take it from Heinz Field on 79 all the way to Morgantown.
Wow.
That's kind of people we serve. That's our market basically.
Right.
And then there's one by Children's Hospital, and then there's another one in Monroeville.
Okay.
So they're kind of spread out. It's not a competition at all in any way at all. That was a hard program for us during COVID because, as you can suspect, most of the kids are very susceptible to catching things. So,
yes.
We had to shut it down. We shut down the program because it wasn't making economic sense. But it started slowly picking back up again. And then we also have early intervention. Early intervention was one of the cornerstones when the adult services started. And that one we're in 4 counties. We're in 4 counties with early intervention, where we provide services from birth until 3 years old. What we're trying to do now, we're trying to get all 3 of the children's services to work together, and just leveraging off each other. Early intervention, we have therapists, all different forms of therapists who help kids from speech to eating, all different types of therapy sessions that they have. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. That is a lot of children's services.
Yes, and can I add to what Eddie's mentioned too is, in addition, in the daycare programs or childcare programs, they have after school students that come in.
That's important.
And then in the summer, there's summer programs, so it goes up to age 13 in that aspect of it.
So that's Rainbow's End.
Yes.
That is your typical childcare, but
Yes.
includes before school, after school, summer care for kids that are out of school.
Yes.
And Eddie, you mentioned that a lot of those families, they're receiving a childcare subsidy from
Yes.
the government.
Mhm.
So
Yes. Yeah.
you're sounds like in that you have that many people that receive it, you're serving a lot of low-income families,
Yes.
but obviously they need the care as much or more than anyone else. And then Your Child's Place, you mentioned, is insurance. So these are medically complex kids. Are they all going to come to you already qualifying and receiving Medicaid? Or could it be mom or dad's employer health plan is paying for this?
Correct. Yeah. I believe I believe it could be both.
It's both actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Majority of the time. So one of the preconditions that has to be met. The first precondition has to be met is that both parents have to be working, or either one parent is working or one parent is a student.
Okay.
Or if it's a single parent, they're either working or they're students.
Okay.
And have insurance. And having that insurance, we can't market directly to them. It's more of their doctors have to be prescribed, so they have to be prescribed to come to us, and that prescription is updated. I think it's every 6 months. I think it's updated every 6 months to see whether the child needs their care. Some children come in either pre-operation, having a major operation, or some of them come in post-operation.
Okay.
And some kids who are have severe complex needs would come in from birth, have the operation, come back with us. Now, the beauty of the services is that we try and make it as a child, a daycare, a normal daycare, which we think is much better than having the child stay at home and having 24/7 or a big majority of the time with a nursing staff staying with them at home. So we try and give that environment. We try and normalize it as much as we can. We had difficulties in getting nurses. That particularly during COVID, that was very difficult. The price of the wages of nurses, that has since changed, and we, like I said before, we had shut down. Now when we reopened up to 4 days a week. Now we are opening up to 5 days a week.
Oh, that'll be a big difference for families.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's a big, because it's I think a lot of families want to go back to work.
Absolutely.
But finding a place, finding a facility. It's a hospital grade facility. All the equipment that you'd find in a hospital, and it's right next to UPMC Washington Hospital. It's a stone throws away, so it's kind of convenient. And the same thing happens with the other PEC in Pittsburgh. That's also right next to Children's Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of.
Is that a requirement to have one of these types of programs, that it be that close to a hospital?
No, it's not, because the one in Monroeville is not.
Okay.
It's not.
But the staff you have, they're medical staff. I mean, they're caretakers.
The nurses.
Nurses,
we have a
all
director,
nurses.
our medical director is a pediatrician.
Okay.
And then the qualified RNs, registered nurses, and then we have child aides who work with the nurses. Yeah. And the ratios are smaller, but you have to have nurses who keep up to.
And these are obviously kids that can't go to Rainbow's End, that because of their medical complexities, there's a need that they can't be in the regular childcare situation.
It'll be very difficult because of their needs. You need a medical professional to be in that daycare with a child. We're not saying it's impossible, but it's very difficult.
How many kids would you say you're serving at your child's place?
We on average, I'll probably say right now it's about 10, 12.
Okay.
What happens with these kiddos is that, like I said, very complex medical needs. They spend half the time in the hospital. If they're not in the hospital, they're recovering at home. When they're recovered from home, they come to the daycare. So it's almost in and out. The problem we found, I don't know whether it's a problem, but what we've found is that families with this kind of kiddos with this complex medical needs don't want to talk about it. Number one. Number two, they don't know about our kind of programs.
Right.
They really don't know about it at all. And it's something very difficult to approach those families and tell them we provide these services. It's not something you go out and blanket and market it out just like that.
Well, I'm hoping this conversation will help with that. I mean, my whole goal with this series is to get the word out about resources. And this is an amazing resource. Now, you mentioned the organization Pathways as a whole started back in the 1960s. Okay, and that was when it was the United Cerebral Palsy.
Yeah, of Washington.
So fast forward to becoming Pathways, and now we've talked about a lot of different programming here, but these kids, the medical daycare at your child's place, how long has that been around?
That is I'm going to say 15 years.
At least,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to say 15 years. It was started with the last recession we had,
Okay.
which we thought it was, one of my predecessors thought it was a very good idea, which it was. And we'd love you guys to go and visit that place, but it was started as that we bought a building not too far from here, and that building was converted into a medical center. And we were going to fundraise for it, and then we had a major recession. The markets tanked. We started a major recession. So over the years, we have managed, slowly to build it up. Now, your child's place is a separate 501c.
Okay.
It's a separate 501c from Pathways, but Pathways over the years just has really assisted in YCP. We've cleared all the debt out from YCP. What we're going to be doing now is trying to partner with UPMC Children's Hospital, with a social services group who deal with complex medical needs. AGH is the same thing. Allegheny Health Network. Canonsburg is the same thing. Just trying to partner with them. A lot of the parents, you can imagine when a parent has a very complex child, services like ours is one of the last things they're worried about. They're just thinking about how am I going to survive? How is this kid going to survive? I need to create an environment. So we've done a lot of work in putting together material which should help parents have a better understanding, but also help the medical side of the insurance companies and the social services within the hospitals who advise the parents to help give them more information about services like ours.
So you also mentioned the early intervention. I'm wondering, are there kiddos that start in early intervention that then maybe need your child's place? Because the earlier intervention, as you mentioned, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, you mentioned swallowing, things like that. But if a kiddo is at that 1 to 3 and isn't able to do some things, is it something that they then may end up at your child's place?
There's referrals, a good many referrals do come from early intervention providers, even our own, because they're in the home first and they're able to help to identify if there are additional resources that could be available for that particular child. And that is how some, and I was going to mention that we even collaborate at your child's place with therapists and others from, the child may be connected with another entity for therapy, and we work with that group, and they can come to YCP in their natural setting to be able to provide some services as well. So it's a lot of focus on whatever's going to be most effective for the child, and it's an individual care plan that's written, and it all is driven first medically. But if you go into YCP, it'll look like a typical daycare with
focus on play.
Yeah, the children's smile and the socialization. It's a nice environment, and then you see the children. So you don't see the medical condition, you see the child, and that's the
best part right there.
Yeah.
And I think what we've been talking about, your services span literally from birth through adulthood at so many very levels. And I guess, how does that all work together that you really are supporting that whole lifespan? I know you have a mission that you're helping people through a journey, right? Tell me a little bit about what that looks like, and do you really have folks that start maybe at early intervention and you may be serving them as adults?
I remember the first time the early intervention director, her name was Monica, and when the first child enrolled in the adults program, and it kind of floored her a little bit. It's like, so now you're getting older, first. But yes, we do see that. We have a wonderful parent that's been with us that talks about how her daughter started an early intervention and then did Rainbow's End, and then some in-home supports, I think, through Agency with Choice. So it is really meeting, somebody at that point in time in their journey, and with what services we are able to support at that time. And if we don't provide that particular support, we have always, redirected somebody to somewhere else in the county or wherever where those supports could exist for them.
We also had a situation, an example of a mom started off in the daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she started off in the daycare. When school, graduated, became a lawyer. She got married, and her child came into the YCP program.
Wow.
And after the YCP program, went into early intervention.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about full circle.
Full circle, yeah. The full circle. Kim, maybe you want to mention some of our individuals in residential. Some of them have stayed with us.
For anyone around for a long time would know that Western Center used to be in the Canonsburg area, and when that closed, I think it was 95, around there, and that was a lot of the drive for the community integration and inclusion.
Sure.
And so that was a period when we expanded. And I just said to somebody last week that some of the individuals, they're still here, and we're aging together. And people see them as they are today was not quite the same in 95.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, when they came in. And it's tremendous to see the personality and uniqueness that everybody brings forth. Several of the individuals there are still with us that live in some of our residential homes. And new people have enrolled. And we also have the supported living program aspect of it, where individuals, like in the 24/7 staffed homes, it's a Pathways home. But in a supported living, individual either rents or owns their own home.
Okay.
And then we go in, similar in a sense to how we provided in the home and under Agency with Choice, but we provide that support for whatever hours and whatever the need is for that person. So it's another level of independence, and it's, again, tremendous. Utilizing some of the technology that exists.
We're talking about some of that.
Yes. Some of that is really going to continue to grow and develop, especially in the supported living program. So that's everybody kind of learning together, and then they'll bring out new technology
Yeah, just as soon as you learn it, it'll change.
Yes, exactly.
So here's a question. As you were talking about that, I'm wondering, how old is your oldest client?
I want to say 84.
Wow. 84.
But here's something interesting also, which we didn't mention about the adult services. Within adult services, we have what we call a seniors program.
Yeah.
Yeah, where these adults have been with us for such a long time.
Sure.
20, 30 years, and they retire from the ATF services. They're more in their homes, in their respective homes now, staying more at home. But we have a few individuals who are in that seniors programs who have been with us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little calmer in the seniors program to decide they want to retire. It doesn't have to be. Some seniors are ready to get rolling, when they do retire. And like how everything's focused on the person, we had a lady who wanted to retire from work, so she retired. And then she retired for probably 5, 6, 7 years. Now she says she'd like to get a part-time job. So,
I love that.
Yeah, and it's like just like any one of us, if we decide we want to do a little bit of that and get a little bit of extra money.
I like that.
Yeah. And I saw that she needs them.
Let me ask you talk about retiring perhaps from the adult training facility. Conceptually, just by its name,
Yeah.
you're training individuals. So do a lot of your individuals transition into employment, and is it supported employment? How does that look?
It's all mixture, it's all individual based. It all depends on if the person wants to work, if they do want to work, what type of work do they want to do, where do they feel they'll be successful, happy. Actually, I've seen many people try different jobs.
Sure.
Because sometimes you don't know
Right.
what you will like, but you do once you start something. You can decide. So we have somebody that's working over at the casino.
Okay.
Yeah, and I understand he enjoys it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you kind of learn a little bit through experience and exposure. But if someone doesn't want to work, then we look at what are the other things that in their life that they want to do. It's really what's meaningful to a person. Just again, like in our own lives, like what do we want to do with our
Absolutely.
life? What do we want to learn? Where do we want to go?
And I think normal aging process, at some point, we're all going to slow down, and
Yes.
that's okay. So maybe that's not 8 hours a day, 5 days a week,
Exactly.
but you still
Yes.
do some activities.
Yeah, we had some people that they wanted to retire, but they didn't want to retire and stay home all day. So they retire and come to the seniors program a couple days a week.
Okay.
Another person may want to come every day. They just want to be in the seniors group. They don't want to be in the other group. Yeah,
So that senior program, is that also a Monday through Friday?
same hours.
Same hours, okay.
Mhm.
Just slower pace, maybe?
Yes, yes.
But I think what we have to realize is that the individuals who are part of our residential program and our ATF program, the whole aspect of everyday lives is that they're to be treated as the way we treat each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the DSPs who take care of them, or who support them, I should say, not necessarily, take them out food shopping. They go out to the park. They go out to movies. They go out to dinner, just like you and I would with our
Because they're part of the community.
they're part of the group with respective families.
We had one gentleman who did a stand-up comedy for
Really?
5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
I like that.
So, and I think a lot of people who don't know about the IDD population, or residential settings or the ATF settings, have a total misconceptions of these individuals and the kind of services we provide. So, we try our level best they live in homes where they buy their furniture, they buy their own bedroom furniture with the monies they have. We also assist, Pathways also assist with some, they go on vacation, just like they want to go on vacation. just like
Absolutely.
you and I. People don't really understand that, and that's the way it's going now, right? That's the way it's going. The other aspect of it is behavioral support, right? Providing behavioral support. Just like all of us need, therapists here and there, these individuals too are being assisted with behavior support. We provide that service, the behavior support services too.
That's incredible, because if I learn about me and how I can control me or adjust my behavior, it makes my life easier. But quite honestly, if you're my care provider, it makes your life easier also. So I think that's really crucial. There's so much that you do under the umbrella of Pathways. But talking about having, being part of that community, let's flip it a little bit and talk about, how is Pathways part of the community? What types of community involvement does your organization have?
We have made a concerted effort to want to be treated as any, particularly, first of all, let me start by saying, with our individuals in our residential program, there's no, where the houses they live in, it's a normal house, right? Maybe a few adjustments made in for their disabilities, but there's no sign saying this, or even our vehicles, don't have logos, there's no markers to identify our individuals or the company. That's very, very important. with that, we have partnered over the years, and particularly this year, we have partnered with into doing community events. We had SVP of Human Capital joined us about 18 months ago, and has made a concerted effort of ensuring that we partner in with community partners. An example, the Pony World Series. We are one of the main partners, and where when all the, I think up to 14-year-olds from all over the world come to Washington for the Pony World Series for over a week. You know, we provide information about IDD. We get to throw the first ball out and certain games. This year we've done a huge partnership with the local baseball team, the Wild Things, where we're sponsoring, I think, the 8 family days, 8 family Sundays, I think it is. We sponsor that. It's a Pathways night. We have a Pathways kind of almost like a rest room where, you know, it's kind of almost like a respite room within
a lounge, like
lounge.
Where you can take a break.
We can take a break.
Okay.
Anyone who's goes to that, we're sponsoring that. The Washington Fair, we're a big sponsor. We're a big sponsor in that. We do volunteer work. Our individuals also do go out and do volunteer work amongst other non-profits. One very touching one is whereby a lot of our ATF individuals go to is a food bank, a small local food bank in Washington, which predominantly serves single moms and their kids, and we keep it very, very quiet. It's not a big food bank, and they volunteer there at least. From the last I heard, it was about three times a week. So we are involved in a lot of partnership things. We're going to be starting whereby want our leadership team to start participating. This is one of the programs we're thinking of starting participating in with other nonprofits or doing drives to help other nonprofits.
Meals on Wheels.
Yeah. Oh, Meals on Wheels. Okay, yeah.
Years and years, yeah.
There's always the need, and I think what you're describing really sounds to me like this isn't about Pathways as a nonprofit bringing money in necessarily, and it's not just about the people you serve doing something that could be a token job. It's really about community integration, and it sounds like you're approaching that from all sides. Yeah. That the folks you serve are really out in the community belonging, but that Pathways is behind some things and sponsoring community activities for the benefit of everyone.
It's for the benefit of everyone. You know, unless you have, I came from a background whereby I did not know anything about IDD or autism. The one thing I've learned, you know, which it was a game changer for me, unless you're living it or you have a family member who has an individual with IDD or autism, you'll have no idea what families go through. Okay, I've become very understanding, and my goal, you know, as a CEO is how do we ensure that the general public really understands? But I'm not going to go and market it.
Right.
You either know it or you don't know it. I always say that we'll never go out begging for money. If I have to beg for money, you don't understand what we're doing. I always say that. You know, if I have to go and beg you for money to support our organization, then you don't understand what we're doing. But that might mean that I'm not doing a very good job in explaining what we do. It's kind of both ways. But it's the DSPs who take care of the individuals. You know, they come from every single walk of life you can think about. I call them Mother Teresa's because it's a very, very difficult, pressurizing, tiring job, but they take it with stride. You know, it's like their own family members, and some of them have become family members. You know, some of them get invited to to their Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, even when their families of these individuals come, some of them come. And some of our individuals don't have families, so, we go with them to our respective homes during special occasions. So it's very rewarding, but we don't look at it as we're doing it for reward. We are trying to run a business, but it's that giving back. Our giving back is that there are more individuals who don't have the opportunity of getting a waiver. The waiver is the funding. Mm-hmm. There's a huge waiting list.
There is.
Mm-hmm. So how can we make it better so that we can impact more people, or have an impact on more people with ID and autism, so that they can reduce our waiting list?
Well, I like hearing you say that. You have to run Pathways as a business, but it doesn't have to be all about dollars and cents. And I think I understand you have a background in strategy and finance, so you get that part. But to hear you say it's really about the clients that you serve as a caregiver, that tells me you're doing all the right things.
It's something we have done from when it was started in 1961 all the way through. We just did an iteration of we're looking at what our mission is, what is our vision, and the reason why we went through that process is because we did it. Well, Kim and I actually did it almost 6-7 years ago. The mistake we did was we didn't really explain to people. We didn't market to our internal staff what Pathways is all about. Okay?
So let's talk about that, because we can do logos and websites and brochures and business cards and all of those things. And you talked about mission and your values, but truly the mission and the values have to be lived within the organization. So what did that look like as you revisited all of that?
We went through this time around we went through a process. Even last time we did, but this time we went through a process. We worked with a consultant who put us through the paces. We got the leadership team, we got management team over a period of 2 days, and they wanted to know who Pathways is. And each of us were being asked, who is Pathways? Who do you work for? Who are we? It sounds easy, right? And particularly when you're doing the job.
Well, I can imagine you got a lot of different answers, though. Everybody experiences life differently.
Experiences life differently, but they're also how they experience their job is also very different. How they see their job is also very different. And these are people who are very, very, very committed to it. Mm-hmm. So our main change was our core values. Our core values is what we were. The core values we have now, the core values we have introduced is all about our identity.
Okay.
It's all about our brand. What do we stand for, right? Who are we there to serve? What kind of employees do we want?
Right.
How do we want to be perceived by the outside world, but also how we're perceived and the kind of work we're doing. It's critical. It's something which is missed. I think it's either missed or overshadowed within the nonprofit space. A lot of things. It's all about transparency, being very clear of what we're actually doing, in doing whatever we can. Whatever we can. Whatever it takes. We'll go out of our way of trying to do it. It means us spending, money outside the waiver, our staff cultivating development for the staff, right? People come here to work. People have to put food on the table.
Absolutely.
But how do we train them? We go out of a lot of nonprofits don't train their staff. We have gone out of our way of, we have a training department which is really developing those services, the quality of services we provide. Kim has been here quite a while and she has seen it go all the way through and producing the quality of services, getting accredited. We've been accredited by CQL, and then from there, I think for the last 5 years,
2020.
yeah, we have gone through paces that really test our quality of services. But how do we succeed together? How do we succeed together as a community, as a Pathways community, but also as a community, the community at large? So those are just some, to mention a few. We have 7 core values. Those are some of the things we're starting to integrate into our everyday life at Pathways. When that's done, quality comes in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think from some of the things you've said, community is definitely important, internal and external, and that integration in the community.
And that's one of the core values. We engage,
and it shows.
Yeah.
Good.
I think there's also some of that team approach that it maybe is part of that same community effort, but that if you've got everybody on the team working for the same thing and going in the same direction, and if it's not just your employees but your consumers that feel like you're moving in the same direction, that's going to help to make it better for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that in doing this exercise, you're really trying to kind of rebrand. It's not so much a market, but just for people to know who you are and what you do. I'm hoping that our conversation today really can lend to letting folks know that you're here and you do all these wonderful things. And I hope to be able to come back and take a deeper dive, because we've touched on so many things, but that's all it was. We barely touched on them.
Yeah.
If there was anything else that you want people that just to get an overview, what is there one thing, Kim, you've been here a while, what is one thing you would tell people about Pathways? If they didn't know anything else, what would you want to tell them?
I would say, I always say in human services, you're always going to have the human. You're never going to get away from that. And we have some phenomenal people here, as there are everywhere.
Sure.
But it's great to see that the field is recognizing these roles as professional roles, and it's late coming, but it's well deserved. And when you have people that are dedicated, like Eddie said, and they're so committed, you can accomplish these types of things. Without the people, you're not going to be able to. So I would say that it's a strength of the organization, and the people that we support, we look at that as a privilege to support somebody in their journey. And they trust us and they welcome us into their life. And we take that very seriously, and we want to perform a good job for them.
Sure. And
every single person's what they want or need from us is going to be different. So we fully recognize that and embrace it, and we want to celebrate and have not only the individuals and the children and the families, but also the staff feel like everybody's set up for success. Everybody is moving in a positive direction. It doesn't mean, everything's always wonderful all the time, but it's challenges, that's just all part of it. So I would say that that's a part that I think others that have come in here externally have indicated the respect that is given to the people that we support from multiple times. So I think that's kind of something that stands out, and we need to build all around that and have that support. And like you said, the community. I think I've learned way more from the people we've supported than they'll ever learn from me. So
I'm with you on that. Eddie, what else would you like our folks to know? If they don't already know Pathways, what's one more thing we can share?
Our tagline, lifelong fulfillment. Lifelong, what does it mean? The lifelong fulfillment is we're here to unlock the potential of the individuals. We're here to celebrate their ability. We're here to defy the obstacles which people put against them, overcome those odds that they face in their respective lives, but also the exceptional talents that they have. A lot of our individuals have exceptional talents. We're here to assist them tapping into those talents. That's what we do. That's who we are.
I love it. And it shows that it really is who you are. And I don't want to finish, you mentioned talents. Behind us we have this wonderful piece of artwork. So I understand this was created by members, what was it, the adult training facility in Greene County?
Yes, in Greene County, they put on a full art show. And came in and it was set up and each category area was defined as to what it meant, and then you could come and purchase specific ones.
Okay.
Not all, but some. And one of the items was the hands.
Okay.
Every person had a hand and they used their hand to design whatever they wanted of that. And then the director who purchased the hands then asked them to put it on a canvas and then asked them to just decorate the canvas however they chose, and then this is what was produced.
I love it.
So
we're talking the talents and the collaboration and the community, having that, I think it kind of just brings it all together.
Yep.
Well, thank you both for sharing
Thank
all
you
of this.
very
There's
much.
so much, we could go on for hours with all that you do, but I think hopefully we're giving people a good overview that they at least know you're here
Yes.
and that you care
yeah.
and that you are a resource.
Yes.
Thank you
Anyone's
very much.
welcome,
Yeah,
anytime.
we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank you.
having me here at Pathways.
Thank you very much.